In this week's Parsha, Moshe Rabbeinu requests that Hashem ensure that there be a singular leader that continue the path of Moshe Rabbeinu. And he does so with a very unique language. Yifkod Hashem Elokei Ruchot L'chol Basar Ish Halaida. Refers to God as Elokei Ruchot, as the God of all the various different spirits. Rashi explains that Moshe Rabbeinu recognized that to be a leader of the Jewish people, you need to be like Hashem, somebody who knows that each and every individual is different. And therefore Moshe Rabbeinu wants a singular leader who is able to react and who is able to connect with Jews across the board. And he says it has to be one individual. Now when you think about it for a moment, you might wonder why. After all, and two different parshas in the Torah, Parshat Yitro and Parshat Ba'alotcha, Moshe Rabbeinu has already been granted a much larger governing base. In Parshat Yitro, he has a system of judges with many different individual judges who have unique character traits, who are able to create a funnel that only the most important questions arrive at Moshe Rabbeinu. In Parshat Ba'alotcha, when Moshe Rabbeinu needs a leadership, a shared leadership, he's given the Shivim Zikanim. And over there, he takes individuals who might have leadership qualities, but who might lack a little in the spiritual realm. And Hashem tells him to provide to provide your spirit, to give over of your spirit to those individuals. And therefore, Ve'atzel min haruach asher alav, Moshe Rabbeinu takes his spirit and he spreads it out to the Shivim Zikanim. These Zikanim would later become the leaders of the Jewish people. As the Mishnah Pirkei Avot tells us, after the next generation of an individual leader, so then it is given over to the Zikanim, who later give over to the Nevi'im, who later give over to the Anshe Knesset Agdolah, the men of the Great Assembly. After all, there will not be an individual leader, an unquestioned leader, for so long. Why is it so important that Moshe Rabbeinu have another leader? And seemingly part of the reason is that Moshe Rabbeinu recognized that people have to understand that the leadership qualities that made Moshe Rabbeinu to who he was are things that you could find in others. Maybe they won't be the exact same. Maybe nobody else will be a Moshe Rabbeinu. But people have to be able to believe in their leaders. They have to recognize that there are individuals who are able to learn through the Masorah, through Jewish tradition, and to be able to rise to the occasion, to be able to be undoubted leaders of the Jewish people. It's in this context that I think that Moshe Rabbeinu did not think for a moment that who Hashem would choose would be Yoshua. After all, Yoshua was a great student of Moshe Rabbeinu. The Torah tells us that as Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to God face to face, Yoshua was a nar, lo yamish mitoch ha'ohel. He was a young individual who did not separate from the ohel. Moshe Rabbeinu, I think, saw him as exactly that. Yoshua was a leader. He could take the Jewish people into battle and battle Amalek. But that's only when he's looking up at the hands of Moshe Rabbeinu on the mountain. When the hands are up, then Yoshua is able to deliver the victory for the Jewish people. On the other hand, Yoshua he saw as a nar, he saw as an individual, somebody who was able to gain from the spiritual realm, but did not have the leadership qualities. It's possible even Moshe Rabbeinu felt, according to the Midrash, that his children had much better leadership qualities. Yes, they were lacking the ruach, they were lacking a part of the spirit, but Hashem Elokei Ruchot L'chol Basar, Kodesh Baruch Hu, you know how to give over the ruach. You already did in Parshat Ba'alotcha. You allowed me to appoint Shivim Zikanim, 70 elders who are lacking ruach. And therefore, help choose a leader who will be able to be both a leader who leads the individuals in battle, Hasher Yitzei Lefneim, Hasher Yavo Lefneim, and at the same time, to be able to shepherd their people. And if they're lacking the spiritual realm, I'm willing to give up my spirit again. But Hashem says, not so fast. He says, when you want a leader of the Jewish people, it's not enough that they have political acumen. It's not enough that they know how to lead practically. What do you need? You need an individual like Yoshua. Kach lechat Yoshua v'nun ish asher ruach bo. When you appoint a singular leader, you appoint someone who has gained in the spiritual realm. Yes, you will have to give him something of yours, but not the spirit. V'natatcha meodcha alav. You should go and give him that majesty, that grandeur, that political leadership. That is the only thing that Yoshua is lacking. And he is no longer a nar. He says, Ish asher ruach bo. Yoshua has developed himself into an ish. And I think this is an important lesson for all time. When Moshe Rabbeinu recognizes the need for a leader, Hashem also tells him, yes, you need a leader, but you need someone who has gained in the spiritual realm. Yes, they're going to have tools of political leadership, but those are only tools to make their spiritual majesty show forth. And therefore, when we search for leaders in our day and age, when we strive to be leaders of the Jewish people, we should build ourselves spiritually and then gain the tools in order to be able to stand in the place of Moshe Rabbeinu, to continue the Masorah, to continue the Jewish tradition. Have a wonderful Shabbat.